10 years ago, my family and I moved here from Buffalo, New York, and let's just say we learned a few things the hard way. Today, I am breaking down the 7 most brutally honest things I wish someone would have told us before moving here. These aren't sugar-coated, brochure-ready selling points. These are, oh, no one talks about that, realities that you're gonna wanna know. And make sure you stick around because number 6 still drives me absolutely insane. All right, number 1, the obvious, the weather. Welcome to the surface of the sun. Let me be blunt, guys. If you're coming from anywhere north of Virginia, Charleston weather will feel like betrayal. I mean, winters are very mild. I mean, you can wear flip-flops in February. We don't get snow here, so kudos to all of you people who are coming from Buffalo, New York, or other areas much like the north, and you're like, hey, we don't ever want to see snow again. Well, congratulations, you've made it. Now, summers here feel like Satan's sauna from time to time. Now, I'm used to it, but you might not be. And from June to September, we hit 90+ degree days. And just last week, we hit 100 with humidity levels added in. It felt like 115. That makes your clothes stick in places you didn't even know you had sweat glands in, okay? So just be aware that summers here are hot. So if you're gonna be one of those people that's gonna complain every time you wake up and it's in the summer and it's hot, you might not wanna live here. As I mentioned, the heat index routinely hits 105 degrees, and that's before you walk across the Publix parking lot. Now, pro tip, schedule outdoor activities early morning, things like walks, any type of workouts, and then very late in the evening so you don't have to suffer in the sun. I mean, it really does get hot, but the evenings, the mornings, do break it up a little. Now, yes, your AC bill will become part of your monthly personality. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you're one of those people that likes it at 69 all summer long, I got news for you. You're gonna pay for it. And you're not special. We all melt here. It's hot, but certain people keep the temperature of their home, 74, 75. Others want it at 69. So you just might be spending a little bit more on your AC. All right, let's talk about number 2 on the list, the bugs. Oh man, nature's little demons. And if you think you've seen bugs before, Charleston is the bugs. I mean, we've got mosquitoes that are just the welcoming committee. And then the real MVPs here are the no-see-ums. Those things bite, and they're biting gnats from hell. Have you heard of those? Yeah. Bug spray, right? Absolutely useless. Don't even think about it because they don't care. They'll still bite you. Now, here's the other thing you want to get familiar with. We do have bug service companies. There are a lot of pest companies out there, so you can have your home sprayed, but depending on where you live, these things aren't going to care. It's not going to matter. So yeah, they've been here a lot longer than we have. Now, just don't get me started on the palmetto bugs. That's Charleston code for flying cockroach. Yes, I said flying cockroach. Go ahead and pause the video and Google what a palmetto bug looks like. Don't worry, I'll wait. You can come back. Did I mention they were flying? Okay. You're gonna be enjoying a nice dinner on your screened-in porch when Karen the cockroach flies past your face like it's a Southwest Airlines, and there's nothing you can do about it. So that's why I tell people you have to have a screened-in porch because, listen, if you don't and you go to sit outside for a meal or something of that nature, you could see a flying cockroach. Karen the cockroach. Now, one thing I didn't even know I would become a connoisseur of pest control services because there are so many different kinds of pests, and well, everyone here has a guy, right? Like me, I have a guy for everything. And pro tip, lotion with skin so soft. Yes, Avon, that stuff. It works surprisingly well for no-see-ums. It was something like a tip, like one of the natives went ahead, and we'll talk about that. They gave us that tip, and they were like, hey, go ahead and get Skin So Soft from Avon. Put it on. It helps with the no-see-ums. So, pro tip.
You're welcome!
Now, let's talk about that native thing, right? So, little pro tip, the folks who are born here call themselves natives, and we're pretty much all outsiders. So, get familiar with that. You might get called a Yankee. It happens. It happened to me multitudes of times. It just rolls off my shoulder. I don't care. You could call me anything. Just don't call me late for dinner. That's the only thing I'd be upset about.
Now that's funny.
All right, moving on to number 3, the allergies and pollen. Yes, the yellow plague. Oh, yeah, besides that, what about, allergies, pollen? This neighborhood is beautiful. If you've never had allergies before, surprise, you do now. Our pollen season does not play around. Cars, driveways, dogs, children, everything turns yellow. And it's like nature decided to sneeze on the entire low country with a cheese grater. Literally, it's like they took snot and were like, here you go, for 6 weeks, okay? Now, the last year, it only lasted 2 weeks. Somebody said to me it's a shorter pollen season. I don't know what that means, but okay, I'll buy in. And here's the other thing. The season typically starts in late February or early March and can run until May sometimes. If we get a second warm-up, we're screwed, and you get a bonus round. So, yeah, that year was awful. And keep allergy meds stocked like you're prepping for the apocalypse, because you probably are. It does not mess around here. I'm on allergy medication. I never used to be on allergy medication. Now I'm on an allergy medication. It does help, but it's just another pill I gotta take every day. And if you own a black car, just give up. It's yellow now.
Dude, where's my car?
You might want to invest in a car wash membership, because it's going to be the only way you're going to keep your black car black during pollens. All right, moving on. Number 4, hurricanes. Yes, it's not if, it's when, right? And so we don't get snow days here. We get evacuation notices. And hurricane season runs from June through November. But the serious threats show up somewhere around August to October. You're going to hear words like mandatory evacuation and storm surge way more than you want to. The good news is you're usually going to get a few days of warning. So, if you're somebody who lives in Mount Pleasant, maybe you live in a flood zone, maybe you're somebody that's buying in Johns Island, a little bit closer to the water. If we do get an incoming hurricane, the area is going to do what's called a mandatory evacuation. They flip the highways, had everything heading west, and basically you board up your doors and windows and hope you have a home when you get back. Now, I have, like I said, have been here 10 years, and I know a lot of people who've gotten homes damaged, trees have fallen, things like that, but I haven't heard of anyone's home just being ripped off the foundation and torn up, at least not since Hugo. And if you need to Google that, go ahead. There's a whole website full of information on that. But like I said, the good news is it gets pretty calm by the time it gets inland. So if you're somebody that's living in Somerville, you're not going to have to worry about it as much as somebody who lives in Mount Pleasant or Isle of Palms. So there is some bad news. Everyone else gets that few days warning, meaning the highways become an absolute nightmare. And if you're going to live here, make a plan. You always want to have an evacuation plan. Knowing where to go, how you go, and when you'd leave really helps you, especially when you're trying to plan things out in an emergency situation. And yes, flood insurance is a thing, and no, your regular homeowner's insurance doesn't cover it. Don't let that be a lesson learned the hard way. I've heard people say this, oh yeah, it's guaranteed it's covered under my policy, and I'm like, double check. Just double check, and then call back again and check again to make sure, because when it happens, once the storm is named and it's coming, it's like the insurance companies just pause business. They're like, not writing any more policies for storms. You guys are going to have to, if you didn't get it, you didn't get the flood insurance, you shit out of luck. Sorry. So, you don't want that to be a lesson learned the hard way. All right, moving on. Number 5, the people. Now, you remember how I was talking about the native thing? Well, Southern Charm meets Facebook comment section. Wait till we dive into this. So everyone talks about Southern hospitality here. And yes, in person, most folks are super polite. They're warm and they're welcoming. Online, these people are psychopaths. These people don't want anyone moving here. Ask a question in a Facebook relocation group and prepare to get verbally body slammed. You'll hear go back to New York more than you did when you actually lived in New York. It's wild. These people don't want you here. And honestly, it's generally people who are just frustrated that there's a lot of extra traffic, people who are mad that the home prices have skyrocketed. They're sick of seeing the out-of-state license plates. So don't let that scare you off. You know, I always tell everybody, listen, people are really friendly here. I don't get the online hate. I'm like, sometimes I think that stuff's trolls. Like, I think it's automated. I think it's bots. So pro tip, don't feed the trolls. Charleston has plenty of amazing people, just not all of them have internet filters. And by the way, yes, we're full, but that doesn't stop anyone else from moving here either. So you guys can stop complaining and saying, hey, Charleston, we're full, so you better go back that way. Great argument, genius. All right, moving on to number 6. Remember, this is the one I told you just absolutely drives me crazy. We're not LA bad, but we're not great either. Traffic is a nightmare some days. And there's 3 different kinds of flavors of traffic in Charleston. Let me explain, right? First flavor is your regular daily traffic, right? Not horrific, but inconsistent. Rush hour on the I-26 is a mess sometimes, especially if there's a car accident. In Route 17, well, shit, that can get backed up pretty fast as well. No real public transit, right? There's not a whole lot of, there's not buses, there's not a train, none of that. So I really hope you like your car because you're gonna be in it quite a bit. So that's your regular daily traffic. Then there's tourist traffic. In downtown Charleston, good luck avoiding it. Mount Pleasant, Isle of Palms, it's all bad. People break for every historic building or ghost tour trolley. I swear to God, it's like they don't care. The streets are narrow, often cobblestone, and full of jaywalkers who think they're invincible. I mean, I had people, just a whole family, just bolt out in front of me the one day. I was just driving down, and you know, you're paying attention because obviously you see there's a lot of people on the sidewalks and the streets and stuff, and you don't want to hit anyone, right? And so just people will just bolt out in front of you, and you have to be ready to slam on your brakes. So that's tourist traffic. Now let's talk about the third flavor, beach traffic. Oh, this is the one I try to avoid at all possibilities. And my family pretty much hates me for it, and I'll explain. So Folly Beach, Isle of Palms, and Sullivan's Island, they all have one road in and one road out. And no, I'm not kidding. If you leave at 10 a.m. on a sunny Saturday, pack snacks, you're going to sit in a 1-lane crawl. I'm not joking. It's like everybody was like, hey, you know what? We should leave and go to the beach right around 10 a.m. Yeah, right in there. Sweet spot. So from 10 to noon, it's a nightmare. So I wake my family up. Okay, this is my pro tip. Get to the beach early, like 7:30 early. I know my family thinks I'm nuts. Or just don't go on the weekends in the summer because everybody does. I get my family up. I make them get in the car. They all look at me like I'm crazy. But I'm like, you guys are going to be thanking me when we're not sitting in the car for an hour and a half waiting to get into Folly Beach. All right, moving on. Number 7, entertainment and live music. It's an absolute hidden gem here. So the music scene here is fantastic, okay? A lot of amazing local bands, a lot of cover bands, a lot of really great artists. So there's the local music scene, art scene here is fantastic. And there's a lot of really great entertainment. Charleston has a really great comedy scene plus music scene. And it's surprisingly pretty legit. And from rooftop bars in Shem Creek to cozy spots in Park Circle, I mean, Common House Aleworks has an outdoor band area. I mean, you're gonna find some amazing bands and singers and songwriters every night of the week. And sometimes you'll get lucky and local legends like Darius Rucker will just pop up from time to time at a local establishment, and maybe he sings, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he just hangs out. It doesn't matter. It's still a cool experience. And I tell people about that all the time. And like I mentioned, the comedy clubs are booming here. So if you think of places like Uptown Social, Republic, Urban and Bubbles, Mesu, these are all bars, restaurants that are a little bit more upscale, but also have a really fun environment. And then there's just so much more talent that is coming to the area that we're finding that these areas in all these different arts and entertainment scene are expanding. And even I'm noticing it, like 5-8 years ago, very few music artists were coming to the Charleston area. Now we're getting some big names, and it's kind of like Charleston's blowing up. You know, it's with all the TV shows. You've got the Righteous Gemstones, Uncut Gems, Outer Banks. You know, all this Hollywood attention to the Charleston area. It really makes this place a hotbed. Now, the other thing is everything is offensive era. Yeah, it feels like Charleston is finally having fun again, and it's not just PG rated fun, okay?
This is getting crazy now.
Listen, if you're one of those people who's like, listen, everything offends me, I'm offended by everything, guns and all this, and pro-America offends me, I want this, I want that. This isn't the place for you.
Get off my land.
Okay? Charleston really left all that in the dust, and we're really kind of getting back to having fun, being pro-America. So if you like nightlife that's chill, local, cool people, and full of real talent, you're gonna love it here. Now, here's a bonus round, so if you stuck around, congratulations. I have a few more things you should actually know. So HOAs are pretty common here. So if you're someone that's looking to move here, read the fine print, okay? Some of these neighborhoods will fine you for breathing wrong. And what I mean by that is really if you're gonna be somebody who buys a boat, for instance, okay? And you bring that boat home on Friday and you're like, I'm gonna start prepping it for the weekend, we're gonna take it out. And so you take it out and then you bring it back and you're like, I don't wanna bring it back to the storage facility. So it sits there for a night or two longer than you're supposed to have it, right? You'll get a fine in the mail from your HOA. And you're like, come on, you gotta be kidding me. But it's the reality. So make sure you read the fine print. Make sure you can deal with those things, because that's a big factor. You might get in and then realize, man, like this is ridiculous. Some of these rules are crazy. And then the other thing you should know is property taxes. Now, compared to the Northeast, they're low, but they can sneak up on you depending on where you live and what exemptions you forget to file. And what I mean by that, well, we have a thing called 4% versus 6% here. So if you buy a home here and it's a second home or an investment property, you're rated at a much higher rate. It's actually 3 times the regular primary residency rate at 0.04%. So a lot of people don't know that, and they just are like, hey, we want to move to Charleston, buy an investment property, it's gonna be beautiful, we'll rent it out, taxes are dirt cheap, but yes, it's dirt cheap if it's your primary residence, not an investment property, not a second home. So it's just something to be aware of. Now, schools, this is all over the place. There's a wide range. Research, and research by district. And don't just trust the website photos of kids smiling under oak trees, okay? Make sure you are reading reviews, you're going on Reddit, check things out. Like this is the future. Like I would use AI to do a lot of my school research today, back when we first moved here, if AI existed. I would put all the schools we were considering, all the neighborhoods, and I would somehow figure out a way of putting in data that would help me make a more informed decision. And then I would also do my due diligence and go visit those schools that I narrowed down. So again, that's something else I wish people would have told us. I wish we had been advised on that, because we really weren't. And now in hindsight, we might have made some different decisions. Now let's talk about groceries and dining, right? The food scene is absolutely fire here in Charleston, but eating out adds up fast. So you got to plan your budget or learn to love Costco, because I'll tell you what, that's a secret hack that I always tell everybody. I'm like, listen, you go there and get a whole bunch of steaks and it'll last you a month. You got to get yourself a little food saver and then a freezer. You got to have a garage freezer, right? Again, all this stuff nobody really talked to us, because the food scene here is great, but it's a little bit higher price. You go downtown Charleston, you're paying for that tourism price, right? All right, that's my unfiltered truth about moving to Charleston. And if you still want to move here, great, I'll help you. But now you're gonna do it with eyes wide open. And if you've got questions, drop them in the comments, or just text me, email me, call me, carrier pigeon. Sure, I don't care. If you're ready to look at homes or you want to chat more, head over to my website, www.buyfromrye.com. And before you go, watch this next video right here on the best neighborhoods in Charleston. That's the one that'll really help you find your vibe. I'll see you over there.